Yeah, I mean, they're both very talented. Vlad's a veteran. I mean, they're both vets. They've been around doing this a while. So, I mean, their games really complement each other well. And them being in that kind of 5-4 ball screen caused some issues for our defense. And they executed really well. And they were both, talented, finding one another and able to finish. Yeah.
The end, guys.
For either of the Johns, you guys had 22, the team's kind of 32 in the second half. What maybe allowed you guys to attack downhill as much as you can in the second half? And how tough is it maybe at the end of the game when, you guys maybe don't get as many shots as you were earlier in the second half?
Yeah, I think, me and John were just trying to be aggressive, like always, and trying to make a play. So I think, throughout the course of a game, they're going to lock in on guys like us, and we're on the scouting report, so just trying to find ways to be, aggressive and also just be impactful in any way we can down the stretch.
Yeah, just like JT said, we were getting stops on defense, so it allowed us to push and get open looks in transition. And then second half, we didn't force it, just let the game come to us. Other guys were making plays, but yeah, it is what it is.
Michael?
For any of you three, obviously the makes weren't there, but how did you guys feel about the attempts you were able to create from beyond the arc?
I think they were good shots, honestly. I was told Max, Kamari, JT, keep shooting the ball. They're great looks. They're going to fall sooner. But yeah, I was fine with our looks. Just got to get back in the gym and just get up more reps.
Mark, go ahead.
John, also, second half, I think they shot 61% or something like that. What do you think was missing, or what do you think maybe you and your teammates needed to do more of in the second half in terms of trying to contain them?
Just interior defense as a whole. Just helping out our bigs sometimes. If it's matchup problems and a guard gets switched on to a big, I think that was just the key down there, and just taking control of the game late. We're up one, costly turnovers, and then giving them the game.
Go ahead, Jim.
John, this is the first loss, obviously. How do you think this team will respond to it during what is going to be a tough stretch?
I think we're going to respond great. I think we have a great group of vets who's been through this. You're not going to win every game, so we're going to be just fine. And we're just going to build off this loss, and we're going to take it on the chin and just keep moving forward.
Go ahead. Yep.
Question for anybody. First half defense looked really well. The whole game really. What was working, and how do you build off of it as season goes on?
I think we need to get the bigs under control, but it was a slower game, less possessions, lower scoring game. It's not as up and down. So I think the defense, there's a lot to improve on, and we're just going to learn from that and be honest with ourselves and just mature and take this opportunity to get better.
One more question. Go ahead, Michael.
Nolan, you and Steve got lost on the pick and roll a few times. I guess, what are some of the issues there, and how can you correct those?
Yeah, we just weren't physical enough, weren't intent on the ball screen with what we were doing. It's on both of us as bigs. And we know that, and we've talked already. And we know we got to be better, and Steve knows he's got to be out of foul trouble because we need him out there and the presence that he brings us. But no, it's just poor communication. It was mishandled. And again, they're two great 7-footers coming off ball screen. They know what they're doing, but we got to handle that a lot better.
61% shooting they hit in the second half. What did you need to, what was behind that? What do you think you needed more of to really kind of contain them?
It's Golden and Wolf at the rim. Golden went 7 for 9, and Wolf goes 4 for 6. So, it's at the rim. We didn't do a good job of handling that. we still end up with them under a point per possession. So they have 67 points on 70 possessions. So even with that, we were able to negate most of their threes and make them have to go to twos. And it's the first time all year they've done that. And they did a good job of that, of taking advantage of that. Golden's a load. And they did a good job of putting those two guys in the middle of the floor and playing off of it. And Wolf's a terrific passer. Obviously, 5 assists, 1 turnover. So, but obviously foul trouble of Steve played into that too, because we don't have as good a matchup for Golden because of the size and the weight and the experience. So that was the biggest. I mean, they shoot 61 because there's Golden had probably of those 7. 5 were dunks, 6 were dunks, 1 jump hook. So it's a pretty simple analysis there, Mark.
Michael?
You're able to force some misses underneath when you stand in front of them, but
What's that?
you were able to force some misses when you stand in front of them underneath. But what was causing Stephen Nolan to get lost in the pick and roll a few times and just?
Well, when they did the big pick and roll, we didn't get under and jam the roller well enough. Wolf hit the 1-3 in the second half. But in order to keep the ball in front of us and keep, they do a really good job of, like I said, with 7 feet to 7 feet, and you got a 7-footer that can handle the ball and throw it over the top. You have to prevent the roll coming downhill. And I didn't think we did. Times we didn't do that. We didn't get under and stand the roller up. And then there were other times where he just caught it and was able to bury us right underneath the rim. So, and it's the other 3 guys too, specifically on the backside as the ball's going away from them, of getting more help in. And I'll have to look through the film and see, where we could have squeezed more off the other 3 guys. But primarily that's knowing that they're going to do that a lot because of the ability of Wolf to find Golden and the size of Golden. Just we got to disrupt the ability for him to roll so deep.
Right at the end, Coach.
Coach, Dusty mentioned you guys, or their defense kind of does pretty well in the assist to basket ratio and limiting, assists, especially when you guys are able to score. What did you kind of see from that, especially since you guys have been a pretty good passing team all year long?
Well, you get an assist when you make a basket, right? So when you shoot 6 for 27, and I think the starters were 4 for 20 from 3, that's going to be, you're not getting an assist when you don't put the ball in the basket. We need to knock down some threes so we could spread the floor a little bit more. And when we can spread the floor a little bit more, we can attack gaps, and that allows us to get to the free throw line more. So, the inability to knock down some threes, I thought we had good looks. I don't think they were all great, but typically we're going to shoot 25 to 30 a game. And you've got to obviously hit at a clip that's better than 6 for 27.
Jim?
What did you think of the possessions down the stretch? Offensively, I guess more so than defensively.
Yeah, I thought we forced one. We had some other stuff called, and we took a 3 that I wouldn't have liked to have taken or should have taken it back. There when we were playing the free throw game, I thought we executed out of the one timeout. Klesma got a really good look late there to tie it. In terms of Winter missing the free throw, we had just ironically practiced that yesterday of making the first, missing the second to be down 3. It was ironically 3 seconds I put on the clock yesterday. I don't know why that came to my mind yesterday to do that and work on it, and we executed it really well. Obviously, we didn't make the first free throw, so. But each possession I'll go through and evaluate, Jim. But I thought the wedge screen we ran with Blackwell and Klesman, they both went with Blackwell. We got the throwback to Klesman, which it was with 22 seconds left, so we were going to play for a 2 there because we had enough time. And they both went with Blackwell and simple throwback. And Max has made those shots before. He's in a slump right now. We got to help him get out of it. But once before that, the one off the backboard, Klesman, it's not what we wanted at that point in time. But I thought he made a good one to go up. Was it 2.5 minutes to go? He drove and made a play in the paint. I think that was one of his field goals in the second half. So I'll have to look at the film, Jim, to give exact play by play by play. But the 22-second one, when we came down, I thought that was, we ran that and got as good a look as you're going to get. If we couldn't, they shut us off going to the rim.
We'll do 3 more questions, one in the back, and then Michael, then Ben, please.
Yeah, so Blackwell led your team in rebounding, 9 rebounds. Can you just talk about how big he was in securing those extra possessions?
Yeah, he was huge. I mean, he carried us there for a while in the second half. His ability to gobble up offensive rebounds and finish in there, and obviously played a lot of minutes, and I thought we needed him on the floor. And he thought, obviously, he did a lot of good things there in the second half.
Michael?
How has Max been working through his struggles? And
Just keep shooting, right? You got to keep shooting. Work on it. You can't be hesitant. You can't be gun shy. You keep working stuff in practice, getting extra shots. And just got to work your way out of it.
One more, then you're good, Ben? Yeah. Okay. Jim?
You expecting a lot of games like this in this league, the way it looks?
I mean,
on paper?
it is. I think there's there's a lot of parity. I think you're gonna have games where, for us tonight, this is probably the worst we've shot it from 3. We were 6 for 20 against Pitt, I believe, but we hit some timely ones down the stretch of that game. So it's. I would expect. I saw the Northwestern Iowa score was a 1-point game. I would, just because there's so much the transient nature of the rosters. People moving around. You don't know exactly who's on what roster, and I think it just creates the balance. And then you've got the 4 new schools that I think that'll be interesting to see how. Teams that travel out there, how they do, and what those games look like. But I think there's a lot of parity across the league. I don't know if there's a dominant team. I haven't seen them all exclusively, but there's a lot of really good teams. But we're 1/20th into this thing, so we got a long ways to go.